Welcome back or welcome front if it's the first time joining us. This is the Adventure Game Hotspot podcast. This is Joshua Cleveland. That is Jack Allen.
Hello.
You doing okay, Jack?
I am doing just fine. How about you?
I'm doing terrible.
Oh no.
Grumpy.
That's good because that gives us lots of juicy stuff to talk about. So.
And yet I am sarcastically, uncomfortably giggling here because I'm uncomfortable. Now, let's just get one thing out of the way. First of all, it's cold. Man, it has been all summer has been absolutely miserable. It just went from completely cold to burning freaking hot here in the Midwest to now it's snowing again. My store has no heating for some reason, not working. Our employees are grumpy. Subsequently, I am grumpy.
Yeah.
So there we go.
Yeah. Well, a lack of heat will do that to you. I was sitting here with my little floor heater on all day, sitting at my desk. So yeah, we got it here too. So.
Okay. So it is cold though over there in
Canada. And sort of much earlier than usual. So we've had a couple of snows and stuff like that. So nothing, piling up or lingering. But yeah,
you're usually the one that comes into the podcast is like, I just shoveled snow for 2 hours.
Yeah. Oh, I know. Yeah, it's brutal. Although no, I mean, like. It used to be way different. When I was growing up, we got snow a lot. Yeah. And it's just like everything's changed. It barely snows anymore here anyway.
Global warming.
Yeah, well, Earth isn't happy.
Well, let me tell you, I'm not happy how much it's going to cost me to get our heat going at the store.
No,
I might just have to replace that thing. I might just have to replace the whole thing, but replacing the whole unit, we had an estimate. We're talking hundreds of thousands of dollars. It's a massive place. So, and I don't got it.
No,
I have to take a loan just to keep my customers or my vendors happy.
Oof.
All right. Speaking of other things that suck, let's tell everybody what we're doing today.
Okay.
In this episode, we are going to be talking about some games that maybe not have gotten as much hype as they deserve. Games that have not come out, maybe recently announced, yada, yada. And we're going to emphasize on the yada. We're going to talk about some of these underappreciated games in this episode. At the end, our top 5 is going to be 5 adventure games that we'd like to see turned into a cartoon. And during my research for this podcast, as I often do, I go and check Adventure Gamer's top 100 list. Millions of people have. It has millions of clicks since a good friend here, Jack, aka Jackal, at the time of Adventure Gamers and the Adventure Gamer staff, put a lot of hard work. And I think when people think of Adventure Gamers, they think of the forums and they think of that list. And I think of that article. And during the research, I clicked on over and the article has been, well, how about you say what's happening, Jack? Tell me how you're feeling about it too.
Okay, well, I mean, I just found literally just found out about it before we came on.
It just changed.
So, and I haven't sort of fully gone through it all myself, but apparently the exact same article that we posted, I think in 2014 or something, it was or 20,000 or 2008 or something. It was a long time ago now. But anyway, it has sort of been reposted with a few different games swapped out and with a new author listed. So apparently all of our work is now being accredited to somebody else just for tacking on a few different games at the top.
And not reposted, just edited.
Right. Yeah. So it's as if all our work is gone. The work is there, but now, apparently, it's somebody else's.
Yeah.
So that is not cool.
And I'm not going to start shaming this author,
No.
but this is she knows better. She is a known commodity in the game journalism world. And I'm not gonna go much further on that, but she had to have known what was going on here. She
Yeah.
knows that she didn't write all of this.
I mean, I wouldn't leap to that conclusion. She may have just been asked to contribute something, and like when I ran Adventure Gamers, I was responsible for the admin. The writers didn't know. I could put Mickey Mouse's name on there, and they wouldn't know until they saw it posted. Okay. So, like, she may have just given some contributions, and then they slapped her name on as author. So, like, I'm definitely not gonna throw a pile on her without knowing any facts. But it's just totally bad form by this disgusting new owner of Adventure Gamers overall. And like, let's go even farther. The games they put in are not adventure games at all. These are just pure clickbait. It's
their action
Assassin's
adventures.
Creed 4 and
yeah, there's no other way around it. These are action adventures, unequivocally action adventures, and some of them even have more role-playing aspects. They're storytelling games, I suppose, is the best way of saying, but not adventure games.
To their credit, they're not gambling games. So I guess, we gotta,
it's definitely a smart move in the sense that they're trying to keep it open as long as possible.
Yeah, in a totally cynical way. It's a smart move to
and from a business standpoint,
more of the mainstream. But anyway, just awful.
It'll stay off Google from essentially shutting them down for a little bit longer while having someone that has some street cred, put this out essentially, like, we are doing adventure game work here, guys.
Yeah, well, you know what? So this is the one good part that maybe you will like. This might be what finally lights enough of a fire under me to do our top 100, because I mean, we've been talking about it and we're absolutely going to do it. But like, to do it right, to do like a really in-depth presentation like we did at Adventure Gamers that somebody else now takes credit for, is a lot of work. So it's not just something we can go, oh, let's do this week kind of thing. It's a months long planning, building, writing. So but it's coming. But this is motivation to get doing it,
And you administrated, you organized all of that. Let's call it 2012. I think it actually might be a little bit before 2012. But anyways, at that time, that must have been a lot of work. Knowing what I know now from this side of the website business, like, that would have been a crap load of work then. Now, though, the games, and I'll pull the curtain back just a little bit, not too much. I don't want to like spoil or tell anything what we're doing, but we are planning something. It's not exactly a top 100 list, as Jack said. We are planning that, but we are in the middle of a big piece right now that our entire staff, all 30 blah 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 of them, 31 staff members are involved in. And I started doing a bunch of research into what we are doing. And it basically, in 2015, the adventure game community, or the game itself, it started getting tough. Like, wow, okay, this is a lot of work. Now, 2021, it just became just straight up insanity, mental institution. What the heck is going on here?
Yeah,
there is a ton of games. Jack curated a list for a lot of us to go through that started at this point of time, and I started going through, choosing a lot of my favorites. And once 2015 hit, we went from maybe 15, 20 games prior to that per year that are worthy. After that, we're looking at 50. And then in 2020, which is the time when Adventure Game Hotspot, or 2019 started, 2020, something like that. I don't know. Work time, you know.
Yeah, it was 2022, but hey,
Or
who's counting?
22, sure. We're started getting like 70 games in these years, and we missed some.
Yeah.
Like we can't keep track.
Oh
So,
no, it's way more than 70 though.
well, I'd
I
say
don't know where.
on the list there was like 70 per year, something along those lines. I'm
Oh,
estimating.
but there's
But,
way more than that now. There's like
Mhm.
many hundreds per year.
Well,
So
the list, just so they know, these are like worthy of what we're shooting for. So it's like a fifth of what the games are released. But man, self-publishing, the ability to put things out on Steam, that's really helped the industry. And
well, yeah, and like something happened with, okay, first of all, there was the pandemic in there. So like
yeah,
everyone was stuck at home, so everyone and their dog started making games, which is great. But so that was one boom.
hmm
But then at some point, Steam stopped curating games at all, and apparently just went, well, whatever. Like I
you
think
got it.
there's like a fee, it's like $100 fee or something. So like send us your $100 and you're in. So it just glut of games that never would have gotten a sniff before that were just suddenly in. And the other big thing, which I've sort of come to understand, is that their Asian market has just exploded. And then that's like Russia, it's China, and like suddenly there's a whole. It's not that they didn't have games from those countries before, but really limited, and now they're just everywhere. And again, that's not a bad thing. But when you add a pool of like 3-4 billion new people, there's going to be a whole lot of games come out of that. So yeah, like that's just kind of multiplied the number of new releases by, umpteen fold kind of thing. So
Well, and good for Steam, good for Valve. Gabe is about to rule the world. At least the video game world. He is about to have just about every share, especially with what is coming out later. But that's a whole. I mean, this is a huge thing. In fact, I don't want to announce something and then have it fall through. But I will say that there is something that Jack and I are tentatively working with Gabe Newell. Is that how you say it? Newell. On. But this man is such a literal billionaire now. I hate to just straight up like start saying it's happening and all of this until we have it in our hands and releasing this type of thing. But that's a busy man, and he's got a lot of things in, a lot of irons in the fire. So, okay.
well, yeah. So, but like all the more reason why it's hard for smaller games to get noticed.
Nice
So
transition.
how do you break through? Like it's fine if you're Wajidai, because you're a known brand, and sort of Ad Hoc, the guys from Telltale who made Dispatch, like people knew about that game. But if you're like a small solo or 2, 3, 4 person team, how do you get noticed? And that's why. No, that's not the only reason we're here, but that's a big reason why we're here, because we want to shine the spotlight not just on the few games that everyone kind of hears about, but all the really amazing games that you may not hear about.
Mm-hmm. So let's do that.
Let's do it.
I've talked a lot here now, so I'm going to let you, and let's face it, more games, probably 15 to 20. I really don't know. I don't know your workflow. Way more games go through your desk than they go through mine. Usually if it hits me, I'm forwarding it over to you and I'm always just assuming that you got it already. And so I'm going to let you go first and give us one game that's standing out to you.
Yeah, just sort of as a fun fact, I looked at my list of upcoming releases that I've heard about, researched, and that's not including a whole bunch of others that I thought, we'll wait. And I got 649 games on my list. So just in production now.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, there's a lot, but so like it's almost hard to narrow them down. But one that surprised me that I've heard nothing about is a game called I Am Ripper.
Okay.
It's from White Paper Games, who have a great pedigree too. They made Ether One, they made The Occupation, they made Dahlia View, the kind of Rear Window style, spy on your neighbors sort of game. So really good background. And I Am Ripper is kind of basically a new Jack the Ripper, but in 1988, small town England. So, and it's like really slick looking 3D game, investigative. You play a female forensic investigator that comes in and has to solve a bunch of murders and stuff like that. Oh, like it looks amazing to me. And
Right.
I'm going, how isn't everyone talking about this game? It looks awesome.
And that's one that I only recently dove into quite a bit more while researching this for this episode. Like I've seen it, obviously. I read everything that you put out on the site, and I've heard a little bit, but definitely something that needs a little bit more attention. And I'm glad that we're doing that right now.
Yeah, I mean, they sort of did their big splash at first, and then kind of haven't done anything since. So maybe it's just in need of another wave of new promotional material. And we didn't have our hotly anticipated list feature on the site, or I would have lobbied for this one at the time. But yeah, so
well, and two, it seems like a strategy for many, and I'm not saying that's what's happening in this case. It's hard for me to take any announcement serious nowadays because I feel like I don't have any inside knowledge or anything, but I feel like sometimes developers, they make these announcements just to use it as a barometer test, gauge public interest. Should we move forward? And but we'll see on that.
Yeah.
One developer that does have a track record, and I'm all but certain that will be releasing this game, might not be your typical what you think of a point and click adventure game, but I'm talking about Train Watcher or Train Watch from Harvester Games.
Yeah,
maker of Harvester, of the Cat Lady.
no, not Harvester.
No,
he did Downfall, the Cat Lady.
Cat Lady.
Yeah,
okay.
Harvester was like way long time ago. Sort of similar, kind of gory horror style.
Okay,
that's a different game.
Okay, well, the Harvester Games developer and name threw me off.
Yeah,
and I really appreciate you letting me know that. So, because that is something that I was just about to put in a video. So, like, guys, I don't use AI. So, thanks for checking. Thanks for checking me, Jack. But anyways, this is it's a creepy game, much like you'd expect from the Cat Lady. It's got some side scrolling. It's actually not an open world, but like an open zone.
Yeah.
Game. And it also has a stamina system. There's not a whole lot that we can kind of understand, but from what I do look, it definitely has a certain amount of puzzles, and it's got what you expect out of kind of like the Cat Lady type of feel. What do you think about that one?
Yeah, I mean, it does have some of that, but this is definitely sort of a different sort of game than that too.
Like survival.
Yeah, and you make choices, and like some of it isn't side scrolling, and the previous one had sort of been exclusively side scrolling. So there's just more to it, and then there were like different layers of gameplay, and I don't kind of recall them. I remember having a good talk with Rem Michalski, the developer at the time, and I'm like, tell me about this game because I don't really understand it. He was very generous with the information that he gave. And then I included it in our news announcement, but it's really layered. There's just a lot going on. So very ambitious game, and good choice.
And there's a sanity system in there, right? Did he mention I don't remember that in your announcement. Did he mention how that's going to be integrated?
I don't remember.
I'm sorry.
I
put you on the spot there.
Did I mention the 600 games on my my mind is just a big mush of games.
Understood.
Like if I don't specifically go, okay, remind me of this one. Like even when you said the name, I'm going, okay, Train Watch. Yeah, I know it, but and then like
Train Spotter, that one movie.
Yeah, the Train Spot. Like, wasn't that Ewan McGregor movie or something? Anyway,
Yeah.
no, that's a great choice, and he'll exactly. He's got the track record. He's going to come through. So, I got another one. I'm probably going to get the names wrong. The French developer called Petums, I guess that's how I pronounce it anyway. Who made, and I'm going to mispronounce all of these words, but Papatura, which was a gorgeous, like, handcrafted paper world, sort of very Amanita styled gameplay. So that was like a really lovely game. And he's making a new game too. It's not a sequel, but it's called Puro Fauna. And again, it's all handcrafted, or sort of handcrafted with paper, which matters in this one because you play a fire creature. And the sort of gameplay mechanic is you have to sort of set controlled burns within the game to overcome obstacles and progress. And as you can probably imagine, there's lots of ways for things to go wrong. So
you gotta go with the odds.
well, yeah, I mean, in a paper world, you better really control your burn. But anyway, like, it looks amazing again, and it's probably not going to get a whole lot of sort of splashy kind of mainstream attention, but I mean, like, I love the first game. I love that kind of game, and I really like the idea of sort of the protagonists themselves being a danger to the environment. That's like a really interesting notion. Like, without even trying to destroy everything, you're kind of a constant threat to it. So it's a smart idea.
And we need more smart ideas in a world where we don't get much difference.
You know what? I'm going to push back a little bit on that.
Please.
Because, like, I'm becoming sort of increasingly impressed by what developers are doing. Yes, there's 1,000,001 games that are the same as everything else. And, if you just slapped a different name on it, I wouldn't know the difference. But I'm constantly amazed by, oh, that's a clever idea. Oh, that's a neat way of doing things. And, oh, I'd never even thought of that. And, like, I used to have at least some confidence in deciding what was adventure game enough for us to cover. And now I don't know. They're just doing such interesting genre blending stuff that there's no line anymore. It's just all kind of gray area.
Well, and I will say that yes, there are some, I don't want to say innovations, but different types of things that are being added, like Simon the Sorcerer game. As you guys know, I didn't really care much for it, but it did have a pretty neat puzzle system that I hadn't seen before. So there's that. Although if I hear Monkey Island-esque game or in tribute to Broken Sword the game, I may just lose my mind again.
Yeah, I mean, if it's a tribute sort of game, then yeah, I think that's kind of run its course.
Inspired by the great LucasArts, yada yada.
Yeah, but like, I think that still kind of holds some sway. Like, games like Locomotive claim to be sort of inspired by Monkey Island, and you can clearly see. I mean, it's nothing like Monkey Island games.
That's the thing; it's nothing like Monkey Island. They're not nonstop saying, "Hey, remember Monkey Island?"
Right. Well, that's what I mean. It's sort of the tribute, nudge, wink games, like But even the ones that do, like Split Town, we just reviewed, and like got a very decent review from first-time developer. And I mean, I took one look at the screenshots and sort of went, they're identical, and not in a derivative way, but just the influence was so clear. But you do it right, and you can still make a great game. So, I don't dismiss anything based on what they're trying to do, but yeah, just
you should never dismiss anything until you actually give it a try. But it's starting to become a turnoff for me, and I'm kind of veering off of our topic. But yeah, that's I guess my little mini rant.
No, I
Um,
hear you.
and now I'm gonna go and be a hypocrite because this next game is clearly one of those old inspired from like the LucasArts era 2D point and click adventure games. Um, Ghost Haunting.
Yeah.
This is one of those that like it captured me by the thumbnail that they use. It says a whole lot in that thumbnail. Now it's nothing like the look, which is good because the look, it's got that pixelated, like heavy
yeah,
pixel
absolutely.
character with not as pixelated backgrounds, which I love that. You know, back in the day, they used to try hard not to make it look pixelated, and nowadays they try to make even the backgrounds look pixelated. This makes it very, very it accentuates the character when the background still has the pixels, but not as pixelated. It really
Yeah.
makes it pop.
Mhm.
And maybe I'm one of those superficial game players that
We all are.
will judge a book by its cover. If it looks good, sounds good, like I'll give it a much more of a leash, you know,
Yeah.
than normally. And this is definitely one that I think I'm going to give a large leash to. Um, is it going to be? I can't be scary. It looks like just a comedic style comedy, but they mention jump scares. They keep saying jump scares, and they're
Well,
no
yeah.
jump scares. Probably. Like, why would you say no jump scares? Probably. Like, what is the message being sent here? Which makes it interesting.
Yeah. No,
Like,
I had not heard that. It's clearly kind of comedy oriented. I mean, your sidekick is a talking pumpkin.
and you're an
So,
8-year-old.
and you're an 8-year-old, but you're trying to get into like the world of the dead. So probably you will
Sure.
encounter some creepy crawlies hiding in coffins or something. I don't know. So like I can see where there are opportunity to add a few,
Mhm.
kind of skin crawlers, but
The developer's name is Three-Headed Monkey Studios.
right. So I wonder if they've ever heard of Monkey Island.
The publisher is Daedalic, which is
Yes.
interesting. In it could be a good way, could be a bad way. But when look, Daedalic, say what you will about the characters, some of their characters in their adventure games, they were successful
Yeah.
for a while in the adventure game genre.
Oh yeah.
So
Yeah, and they're no stranger to the genre. So,
nope.
if they're going to kind of stake their reputation on a third party game,
Mhm.
they'll have probably vetted it pretty well.
Right.
So, yeah, I mean, they've seen more than we've seen, but they saw what we saw and went, that looks pretty good.
Yeah.
That really looks pretty good. So,
And they need a hit too. They need a win. Mhm.
yeah, they do. It's been a while.
They're invested, man. They're putting their money in a lot of places, games wise, not just in the storytelling community. I'm actually very interested to see where they go in 2026.
Well, I'm glad they're still around, and I'm glad,
Mhm.
and I guess probably diversifying is kind of a smart way of kind of hedging your bets. And if one thing doesn't work out, maybe the other thing pulls you even, sort of thing. So, yeah, I mean, they're one of the few kind of name publishers left, so we got to really be rooting for them. But all right, I got one that's very untraditional, and this appeals to my sort of more adventurous side than point and click. It's called Will Follow the Light. You are a sort of a sailor on the stormy Nordic seas, and you're driving a yacht, and you're in search of your missing son. So part of the game is like sort of piloting the craft itself and all this inclement weather and stuff like that, using sort of real controls, created in consultation with like experts who know what they're doing. So it's kind of very sim like in that. situation. And then of course there are stops where you get off and it's really creepy and first person, horror type scenario. So like a really interesting combination. And yeah, I don't know. I love sort of anything on the water. That just sort of really appeals to me. It's
You really are everything water. You are down. Are you are you wanting to be the captain?
usually it's the underwater stuff that I like, but there's just
Alright.
because there's no escape.
Mhm.
Like if something goes wrong, you're dead.
You're
You know what I
done.
mean? Like that's it. There's no running away. There's no, you're stuck on a little craft, and yeah, and it looks great. Like it's really again slick presentation. It looks amazing.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna go with we had these gentlemen on our podcast once, and I'm gonna be honest with you. When we had them on, we're actually showing this at the fanfare.
Yeah,
This is Sleepy Time Village
I knew you were going there.
that I'm
I didn't know what
talking
you were
about.
going to say, but I sort of knew where you were going.
We didn't know as much then. It looked different. It looked unique. It looked interesting. I wasn't sold on it from my perspective, from my interests, but now I am. This is a weird and creepy game, all packaged up in a bright and cute little package. You watch South Park, right? You've seen
Oh yeah.
South Park.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah.
Do you remember like there's an episode like the Woodland Critters, the type of thing where they're all do do
I
do do do. I'm so
I don't
happy.
offhand, but yeah, I can totally see South Park doing that.
Okay. That's what this gives me the vibes of, like the happy little cute little woodland critters coming out. Oh, pet me. Rah! You know.
Yeah.
And that's what we need. That's what we need. And so many games are either black or white. Not very many are black and blue. And I feel like this black and white or black and blue type of game. If that makes sense. I'm going to use my Joshuaism like on that. But it just looks like something we haven't seen before. I mean, if we have, then we haven't seen it recently, or at least not packaged like this.
Yeah.
And so
Reminds me just
Brothers games.
reminds me just a teeny tiny bit of the space section of man, what's the Double Fine
Broken
game?
Age.
Broken Age, yeah.
Yeah.
Where you've got this sort of sunny computer saying all the nice things and everything's
Did you brush your
wonderful
teeth?
right, everything's lovely, and then but there's like a sinister undertone, and there is, there's going to be here too, like there's that much kind of cuteness, then there's got to be something
you up.
Yeah.
It's the lull before the serial killer comes in and pins you to the wall with a steak knife.
Yeah. Exactly.
to reference Halloween
with a smile on their face.
Maybe if you can see their face.
No, it looks good, and there's kind of an interesting narrative layered in it too. It's about a kind of neglectful father who is kind of coming to terms with his own failings and stuff like that, and kind of has to sort of accept what he needs to change about himself. And so like it's not just a silly, funny,
it's all cats in the cradle
thing, but what's that?
So it's all cats in the cradle.
Yeah, a little bit.
Neil Young wants his game back,
but that's a good that's a good sort of narrative underpinning for a game like that, right? So
we say one more.
Yeah, sure.
Let's go one more.
I got a good one.
Okay.
This is another one from a sort of tried and true developer called Brain and Brain.
Okay.
That's the developer. But the game itself looks incredibly cute. They're very sort of less full-fledged adventure games and more kind of narrative-based games. But this one's called The Marvelous Raincaster of Yell Holler. And it's It's very cartoony, very sort of artsy on the surface, with this strutting rooster who sort of wanders through these kind of cartoony animal lands based on the Ozarks, where the developers are based. Anyway, his adventures are narrated by sort of a chronicler, who putting it into song, but he's incredibly unreliable and he gets everything wrong. So you as the player have to correct the details of the narration, which in turn affects the story. And then you have to go back and sort of piece everything together. It's a really clever idea, gorgeous art style. I think it just looks so unique.
It really does have an inviting art style. And as you mentioned, unique. And I'm
Very.
always interested in something unique. A lot of adventure gamers aren't. And I am glad that you and I are more open to trying something different, I suppose. Okay. This
Last
is
one,
not
make it count.
Yeah, this is not different, because this gentleman, and I will say gentleman, he might have somebody else helping periodically. He is prolific. Cosmic Void. Cosmic Void puts out games, man. And this one that's coming out, Midnight Saturn, I think it might actually be his best pixel art to date. And that is an evolving art style that he's been putting together.
Oh yeah.
And it almost looks like late 80s arcade style characters, kind of like something that you'd see in Fists of Fury, but the cutscenes, that nostalgic look, and you're mixing it into a point and click adventure game. And we know he delivers. How does this guy put out so many games?
I don't know. And it's not,
they're not crap.
No, right. And it's not AI. It's not like he's not cheating. These are like original stories with great art and sort of well thought, but like they're short games.
Right.
His games tend to be sort of 2-3 hours kind of thing. But that, like, the degree of work that goes into a game, like most of the work that goes into a game comes in like sort of just the first act kind of thing,
right?
Like developing the world and writing the story and creating the art. And so it's like a super longer game isn't necessarily way more work. So he's putting in all the work sort of in this condensed 2-3 hour window. So yeah, it's really amazing.
Well, and he has a really good formula too. The style of game that he puts out, he has a template that he continually follows. It's very, very clear, with moderate, adjustments here and there. And with this type of game that he keeps putting out, it would not do well, in my mind, if they had voices. It actually would. I think it would take away from the rest of the game, because it is based on catching that style, catching that feel. And he does have a really good formula that just does seem to work. And this one here, you're playing as a detective. Call him Tex Murphy, because this is a futuristic sci-fi style gumshoe detective in pixels. You got me,
yeah.
Man. I'm there.
Yeah. And he, like you said, he always delivers. It's not kind of going to blow you away with the super epic kind of story or anything, but yeah, just for a few hours of solid adventuring, like, he's money. So yeah, can't argue
there
with
you
that.
go. Do you have any honorable mentions that you want to throw out there?
I have tons.
Well, let's save some honorable mentions for another episode.
Okay.
Because I feel like this is something that we might want to trickle in each podcast.
Yeah.
Kind of keep some juices flowing, for some of those that aren't as in our face in the future. But go ahead and give a couple honorable mentions.
Yeah, well, actually, I think I had suggested to you a while ago that we just sort of do one game each.
You did.
Sort of every podcast. And then, of course, we both completely forgot about it. And,
sounds about right.
We're easily distracted. So, yeah. Okay, one is going to be a little less desperation. Now, there's probably a bunch of people that are going, I think I remember that game. Because, yeah, it's been in development for years, and it looked amazing like 7 years ago.
Mhm.
And, it sort of always seemed to be on the cusp of almost done, but never kind of came out. And even I've started going, is this thing still happening? And then it got a publisher with Dionys again. I'm sorry, I'm
Mhm.
mispronouncing again, but and they're doing some really amazing work in the indie publisher arena. So yeah, and they're picking it up. So it's gonna happen, and it looks really good. Sort of like a farmer, I think it might be Amish or something, who gets abducted by aliens and then somehow has to save an entire planet or something like that. Like an interesting story, but just a really great looking game that I thought
Yeah.
was probably going to die, and now it's like, no, it's still here and it's really going to happen. So I'm happy about that.
Okay. Um, I'm going to throw out Legends of Castile in
Yeah,
there. I think it's Castile,
yeah,
Castile. I don't know. It's spelled
I would
like
take a steal.
Castile, but I think that might just be the Spanish. Anyways, it looks pretty. That's where I'll go. It looks pretty. It's got the Gilbert Goodmate style, which, by the way, I love that style of art. It's got in there. The animation looks really good. I'll say this: this one was on my radar for a long time,
Hmm.
and I got I started seeing a little bit more and more, and I kind of lost a little bit of my luster for it when I saw some of the animations. This was like 4 years ago, and it looks like with any other young developer that's learning as they go, it's gotten much, much, much cleaner. And so I'm very eager to see more. They just were part of Adventure X. I haven't played the demo. I don't know if you have
I did, yeah.
or not, but it looks good to me. What did you think of the demo?
Yeah, it was solid. It was very kind of traditional and nice artwork and stuff like that. It was pretty limited, so you didn't really get far. It's got like a really interesting premise where later you're battling all these mythical creatures and stuff like that. And like none of that happened in the demo. So I'm like going, yeah, let's get into the meat. And then it ended. And I'm going, no, come on.
Well, I can assure you that you have never seen an adventure game like this, at least the setting. So
Yeah,
uh, this is a Spain an area in Spain where I got to go check out this village and investigate it. I guess it involves some of the Spanish church and all of that. The setting it's just not something that I've seen before.
no, yeah, me either. So, and I love that. It's like, oh, good.
Yeah,
Here's something new. Like, even
something
if it
new.
feels familiar, it's something new. So, yeah.
Okay, well there you go. There is. Why don't you throw in one more honorable mention, but just like
Yeah,
be
yeah.
brief. In
Oh, I don't know. Okay, I'll do Captain Disaster and the Two
okay,
Worlds of Riscara. Yeah, like I'm not going to say much about it. It just like it's sort of visually leaps and bounds ahead of the last one, which was a very sort of funny, cute little game, but it sort of felt like a developer's kind of first work kind of thing. And this one looks much more polished and feels sort of much richer overall. So I'm looking forward to it.
and I'll say the same thing for mine. World Light, No Time to Trip. The last one, both of these artistically is you can't get better in my mind. Both the last one was Curse of Bone.
Yeah. Willie Morgan,
Willie Morgan, yeah,
Curse
and the
of
Curse of
Bone
Bone
Town.
Town. Can't get better art wise in that, but there was some that was left on the table in writing and everything, and who knows, it might not be as good a writing in this, but it definitely looks like this is more in their wheelhouse, and I'm very, very, very eager to see more. This is one of my most anticipated games coming
Yeah,
up.
it'll probably end up, but some of these are going to end up on our hotly anticipated list at some point.
At
But
some point.
they're still early enough along that we don't need to rush them on yet. But I suspect they'll creep on there eventually.
But this just looks like a fun setting. Like it
Yeah,
just looks like a fun game. You got outlandish characters, outlandish settings, and I'm eager to do a little time travel.
yeah. No, totally agree.
All right, let's see if we totally agree with our top five adventure games that we would like to see turned into a cartoon. Super excited about this. I am still a cartoon man. I am that guy. So let's see where we go here. Jack,
Yeah.
I'll
You
let
know
you go.
what? I used to love cartoons for the longest time.
Sure.
And it almost kind of prided myself on it. It's like, my inner child is still alive and well kind of thing. And it still is. But
Mhm.
at some point I hit a saturation point and I just went, enough of cartoons. And I don't dislike them. I just kind of had my fill. But
They're great to just like have on, man. Get some work done. They're fun to have on. Keep your brain from going insane. Mhm.
but see, I'm the opposite.
Oh.
I because it's all hand drawn,
Mhm.
I feel almost like it's my obligation to watch every second of
Oh.
it, right? And I am not. I'm so easily distracted. I almost
Mm.
never sit and watch something start to finish without doing something else. So I think it was almost that sort of agitation when I watched them that is like, oh no, I don't want to sit and watch something
Well,
so
that's
close.
why I like cartoons, because I am the same way. If I'm just sitting down watching something, I'll feel like I am not being productive. I'm losing an opportunity to do something that would benefit. And this is just like, I need chaos too. I need noise. And so that just seems like something that's just a fun way to keep through. So, okay, there's our
Not Kenner. Okay, so my first one is almost feels like cheating because it's almost a cartoon already,
Monkey
which is
Island.
Tales of the Borderlands.
Oh my God.
Um,
Okay.
so I just like I think if you're going to be a cartoon, be something that is hard to do for real. And I think as the abysmal Borderlands movie showed us, it's a tough world to do real like live action. So like it's a perfect world to just do crazy things with funny, weird characters and stuff like that. And that's kind of why we love the games anyway. So yeah.
Yeah, so you're talking about from the Telltale,
Yeah.
obviously, not
Yeah.
necessarily the let's shoot you in the face.
But it's very much the same world. And
Oh, it's
so
the same, yeah.
I played, I think it was the first two games, and I enjoyed the gameplay, but it got kind of repetitive. But it was still the same parts of the game that were so enjoyable. It was the characters and the unique setting and the sort of weirdness of it all. It wasn't just that it was so much fun killing and looting, although that's not bad either from time to time.
No,
If you're playing a game.
if you're playing a game.
Yeah. Don't advise it otherwise. But
Guys, disclaimer. This isn't how we really feel.
no.
This is why we play games.
Right.
Okay, well, I kind of gave. I didn't really want to go here, but I kind of threw it out. I thought for sure you were going to say, in the way that you prefaced yours, I thought you were going to say Monkey Island. Monkey Island is definitely on my list, so I'll throw it out there. I mean, it's basically a comedy cartoon adventure already. You got Guybrush, who's pretty much the perfect doofus style cartoon protagonists. You got the locations that would work out very well. You've got a good cast of characters that would go on there, and obviously the aesthetic lends itself well. So let's go Monkey Island, but not the later stuff. I'm talking about like Curse of Monkey Island style. Something that's not too in your face and also not too early either, not pixelated. So I think perfect look.
Yeah. Yeah, I can't argue with that. I knew I was going to pick one LucasArts game, and I decided I'd pick another one. Now, I will say, be careful what you wish for, because I have seen the Sam and Max cartoon, and it is awful. Awful.
Okay, go ahead and say it.
No. You want to talk about that first, or
no? Say yours.
I picked Day of the Tentacle.
Oh, okay.
I think it's perfect. You could, and I'm picturing not just like a single cartoon, but a serialized thing where something goes wrong each episode, and you got 3 characters and always a different time period and stuff like that. So many possibilities for a cartoon there, and just the characters themselves are goofy and funny and silly. Yeah, perfect for a cartoon.
Okay, so solve this for me.
Okay.
Would it be just surrounding the mansion, or would you branch out?
Oh, no,
I feel like you'd
definitely.
have to.
Yeah,
You'd have
yeah.
to, right?
No, yeah.
But you would basically go back to the mansion every single
Sure,
time.
that could be
You
the
know,
hub.
that's your
You know,
base. Yeah.
right? Yeah.
If
Or
if you need
we have somehow things that happen elsewhere in the world somehow crazily ending up affecting the manor or something like that. So okay, we have to, we have
if
to
you
go
need
solve another problem.
if you need to go, analyze something at the secret lab, or you want some food, you need to microwave yourself a hamster, go back to
That's right. Yeah.
okay.
But you got to have the chronogens because that is like,
That's the way.
that's the way.
That's the way. I considered Sam and Max, but again, it's tainted. They could definitely do better. That had nothing to do
Oh,
with Steve Purcell or any of
no.
these
Yeah. It was
things.
so disappointing.
Okay, I'm gonna go with Space Quest for the very same reasons as Guybrush Threepwood. The perfect fall ass backwards into success, Janitor turned hero accidentally. You got everything's a parody, which always lends itself well for a cartoon. And I mean, it's got a cartoon. Look, if you like Futurama, I think like that look for Roger Wilco. Yeah, give me all that. Give me all of it. Every bit of it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, sign me up. Okay, my next one just didn't leap to mind at first. I think because there's no talking in the game, but it's like a perfect series for it, which is The Dark Side Detective. I
Okay.
was just so funny and so clever. And again, something you kind of couldn't do as a live action thing, really. It has to be a cartoon. I wouldn't do pixel art like the games are, a very sort of, I want to say rudimentary pixel art, but it's really not. But it's meant to look kind of 80s ish. So I wouldn't do it that way. But yeah, there's so many possibilities with the world. And it's just so funny. The characters are great, perfect for a cartoon.
Okay. I
Uh-oh. He's having trouble.
I don't really like this game,
Okay.
but I think they could do really well in a cartoon to convert this.
Totally valid.
The Neverhood.
Yeah.
It's not anything that we see for a cartoon, but it does have like the really interesting visuals. It's got a strong sense of humor on it, like a stop motion series.
Yeah.
With like some level of like hybrid animation or something on there, and it doesn't have to be all claymation. I think maybe if you can morph back and forth into from like pure claymation to like straight up animation, it have a very much an early 2000 Cartoon Network style feel to it. I think there's at least the meat there. I
Yeah.
don't know how you season the meat, but the meat is there.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, absolutely. I mean, I love claymation. I so love it. I love it less now because it almost looks too polished now. Like it almost just looks
Right.
like CGI now. And the part of the beauty of claymation is seeing just enough of the craft to realize what's gone into making it. I think some of that's been lost, but yeah, that's why I didn't so much enjoy the game itself of the Neverhood, but just I loved being in the world and just watching the little animations and stuff like that. Going, and somebody made that all out of clay and moved it like, so yeah, but being expensive show, claymation,
Sure.
stop motion in general is just very expensive and time consuming. But so come on, Aardman, get on it.
Aardman, yeah, make it.
Yeah, they did
Make it
Wallace
happen.
and Gromit. So, okay. Let's see. I'm going to go with the Book of Unwritten Tales.
Yeah,
Yeah,
forgot about that.
I know you like that game. I
Oh,
was almost reluctant to say it in case you had, but just again, just as sort of zany, imaginative world, a fun group of characters, a sort of mismatched motley crew of characters. It's just perfect for a cartoon. They do so much, and they have the flying ship, so they could go anywhere. So right, so
Yeah, any collage of human, orc, elf, like it never goes wrong. Well, it goes wrong a lot actually. Like, but when you hit, it hits well, and you don't really see it much in the cartoon setting. And the characters, you have all of the they would work really, really, really well together. The
Yeah.
constant struggle for who is the lead. I think that's a great choice, and I wish I thought of it. And got
Yeah, well, you know, that's why I'm here, man.
that, huh? That's why.
That's
Okay,
it. That is the one and only.
the
I've fulfilled
reason.
my purpose. I'm leaving now. Goodbye.
Good night now.
All right.
Okay. How about Full Throttle?
Yeah.
How rad would that be? Just a biker gang with a solemn, mostly quiet, but has some things to say. Most of the conversation's going to come from the loony sidekicks. It's got I could see like a very much 18 style, to it, in the solving a problem, getting in, getting out. You've got road trips, get in, get out, post-apocalyptic biker gang with a heavy metal feel.
Yeah.
Heck
Yeah.
yeah.
You sold me. I considered it, but
Mhm.
I sort of couldn't envision how to make like a series out of it. Not that it needed to be a series. It wasn't part of
Mhm.
our criteria, but I wanted it to be. And I just like, to me, it felt like a one-off. But yeah, you sold me. Yeah, you could do
Okay,
something with it.
cool.
Although, I mean, they tried to make a game sequel and that didn't work out. But
Yeah.
we won't
Well,
hold that against them.
that still could have worked, but what they were doing just wasn't even, no one would like it. Not even adventure
No,
gamers.
no, I know. Okay, my last choice is probably gonna seem a little weird,
Okay.
which is Siberia.
Okay.
Now we're not talking kids cartoon here. We're talking adult cartoon and sort of really classy art, not
Sure.
sort of broad cartoony art, but I should say more animation than cartoon. But
Like
I think
cartoon movie type of thing.
yeah.
Okay.
Just but I mean, you could do it episodically too. Like
Okay.
each new episode is a different stop on the train. It's like I should say sort of Siberia 1 and 2 kind of thing. So it's just a long trip, and each new episode is a different stop. But honestly, I thought that the original version of the game was a bit more cartoony than it is. When I went back to look at them recently, I went, actually, it's a bit more kind of lifelike than I thought
Mhm.
I remembered. And then they went the opposite way with the remake, which was to make it kind of hyper realistic. And I thought it lost a lot of its magic in doing that.
Mhm.
But so I'd say, like, go the other way, like, make it sort of all animated and just a really interesting world. And like Benoit Sokal was an art, like a graphic novel artist. So I think
Right.
he would kind of love to do, he's dead now, obviously. He's not
What
doing
that?
anything, but like I think it would suit his style very much. So I would love to see that. A Siberian movie? Oh yeah, sign me up. Like
I
a
totally see that.
Siberia animated movie.
Animated movie, kind of like the Tomb Raider animated cartoon series, how they make it like a long, like it's 30 minutes each episode, but it's essentially a long,
Right. Yeah. I mean, I
type
haven't
of
seen it,
thing.
but yeah, that's the sort of thing I'm talking. But not exactly that kind of art style. I'm talking about a
Adultish.
little bit more creative, I think. Than anyway. I can't describe. I can picture it in my head, so I'm sending out vibes so everyone can understand what I'm thinking about.
I'm receiving them
All right, there we go. Okay. Oh,
with my psychic abilities,
right.
because I
Sorry about
am
all the other
using
confusion that's probably coming through as well, but
I'm going to use my psychic abilities for my next one, which is going to be the Psychonauts.
yes, yeah,
You want to talk about zany characters with cool abilities. Like, first of all, the idea of a Psychonaut is just such a cool idea. I really wish there'd be more games that would emphasize the use of a Psychonaut. And for those that don't really know, it's basically gosh, if I could even explain it, it's something that uses Rift style psychic abilities to see. I guess that's the best way of explaining it. Not really the way they use it in Psychonauts, but anyways, a really cool abilities, really cool characters. Looks it just looks like something that I would just enjoy and have fun watching.
Yeah.
And then the characters are just so strong.
Yeah.
And I would love to see that as a cartoon. So
Yeah, and I mean, you know, as much as I love the games,
Mhm.
to me, it's not the gameplay that makes me love them. It's the characters, it's
Right.
the zaniness, it's the art,
Mhm.
it's that stuff. So it's Tim Schafer being Tim Schafer,
That's it, man.
not platforming in Meat Circus or something like that, you know. So yes.
Well, there it is. There is our top 5. There is our games that you should keep an eye out for that are upcoming, and there is our rant about adventure gamers being modern adventure gamers.
See, I put it out of my mind briefly, and now you're,
Mm.
you know, oh, all right.
Well, let's go ahead and close this up. We want to take a moment and tell everybody it's been a wonderful year for adventure hotspot. And I'll speak for myself, and I'm sure I'll speak for Jack here in saying that we appreciate all of you who have not only watched this podcast, listened to this podcast, definitely those that have read the work done at Adventure Game Hotspot, the work done by, of course, Jack, and the rest of the Adventure Game Hotspot staff. Truly, truly appreciative of you guys, the developers, and everyone who we have. We can call you all friends. And not going to pitch anything on the way out. Let's just say thank you, and we will see you guys soon. Take care.
Yeah.